Okay.
Good morning, welcome fathers to this channel. So I'm happy to have you here today with me to share about your life, your vocation in your faith, and your journey in the life as a Jesuit. So for how many years already in the Society of Jesus? I hope it will be fruitful for our conversation, and also it will help me and help others to know more about your life and our vocation as a Jesuit. At the same time, it leads them closer to God. So once again, good morning and welcome to the channel.
Good morning, Elo. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very happy to be with you, and I hope your listeners will be able to understand my strange accent.
Thank you, Father. Before we begin, could you start telling your name, your from which country, and your achievements now?
Okay, fine, thanks. My name is Peter Knox, Knox. It's a Scottish name, although my family is not Scottish. We are from South Africa. My family has been in South Africa for 4 generations, and I was born there in the city of Johannesburg, which is the commercial center of the country. It's not a political center, it's a commercial center of South Africa. I was born there 62 years ago, so that's a long time ago. I studied at a normal government primary school, then I went to a Catholic high school, then I went to the University of Cape Town, where I qualified as a chemist, an industrial chemist. I was working in the mining industry in Johannesburg because Johannesburg is associated with gold and uranium mines. I worked in that industry before I decided to join the Society of Jesus, and I was accepted in the society in 1983. So that is now 41 years ago. And I had to, because South Africa is not a Catholic country, we have only 7% of our population is Catholic. We had no formation. The Jesuits have no formation in South Africa. And so I went to the British province, to their novitiate and to philosophy. So I spent my first 5 years in the society in Britain, the novitiate in Birmingham, the philosopherate in London at Heathrow College, which is part of the University of London. Then I came back to South Africa for what we call Regency. Regency is a time between philosophy and theology when the scholastic is very involved in the ministry of the society in his province. I did my Regency in our parish in Soweto, St. Martin de Porres parish in Orlando West. There I spent some time in the mountains in a very remote area, learning a language called Sesotho, a language which is shared between South Africa and the independent kingdom of Lesotho. So I spent 6 months learning the language. Then I spent 6 months working with the youth. And the second year of my Regency, I was the parish administrator because we had no priest in the parish at the time. So I was administering the parish, ensuring that we have weekly communion services or weekly mass. I was doing the finances, I was doing the accounts, I was working with the parish school, making sure we did a whole renewal of the parish school, a refurbishment of the school. And so then I came to theology, which I did in South Africa. I was ordained priest after 13 years in the society.
Thank you very much for letting us know about your life and education. So I think it's really important that for us as the young men and the people to know that our journey in the society is a long process, but with the help of God, with the help of God, we will always go forward. Even in certain things, we face some challenges, but the grace and the love of God go beyond our challenges. So thank you very much for that. And Father, the first question is, when did you feel that God is calling you to be a society of Jesus, and how do you respond to this calling until now?
Okay, thanks, Elo. Thanks for that question. I think really when I was studying at the university in Cape Town, I was very involved in the life of the student Christian community, not only the Catholics, but because Catholics are a minority, as I said. The student Christian community includes Anglicans and Protestants and charismatics and people from different Christian churches. I was involved in that Christian society, and on most days I used to go to the Catholic chaplaincy as well as to our Christian meetings, and I got to know the Jesuits at the Catholic University chaplaincy. There was one lecturer in the faculty of law. He was also the chaplain to the university, a Jesuit father who was teaching and chaplain at the same time. And I got to know the community. I got to know the other members of his community. One was working in a school. He was chaplain of a school. One was chaplain in a hospital. One was a parish priest. And so I got to know the Jesuits and the variety of works they do. And I saw, okay, if I'm going to be a priest, certainly to be a Jesuit would be the most interesting priest, because I wouldn't be stuck. I wouldn't be expected to work in a parish all the time. You know, a normal diocesan priest is a parish priest, at least in South Africa. Whereas I saw the Jesuits were working in very, very different apostolates. As I said before, university chaplaincy, school chaplaincy, hospital chaplaincy. And I thought, if I'm going to be a priest, at least the society will find a place where I can fit and where I would be well suited, hopefully, to the work that I will do. And so that's when I thought of priesthood. At the same time, I thought of priesthood in the Society of Jesus. In my final year, I applied to the Society of Jesus, and it took a while because it had to go to Britain, it had to come back. I was accepted. And so in my final year of studies, I was accepted into the society. Then I had to wait 9 months because the South African academic year ends in December and the novitiate began in September. So I had to wait for 9 months before I could join the novitiate. During that time, I worked, as I said, in the chemical industry or mining industry, and I spent 6 months in Europe, just traveling, seeing a bit of Europe, getting exposure to another world, because South Africa is very different to Europe. I spent 3 months working, 6 months traveling, and then I joined the novitiate in Britain after 9 months.
Thank you very much for once again letting us know about your life, especially the process of knowing the vocation. No, I think it is important for us that to discover the God's calling in our lives, in our everyday lives. That God is always, calls us to respond to His mission. So I think this is a very good important for the young men and for those who are still discerning. God always welcome us in a certain time, even you are considered as a late vocation or you're still considered as a young man, but God is still open hands to welcome us all. So thank you very much for that. The second question, the question is, Father, are you happy to be a Jesuit and do your mission right now?
Oh, I'm very happy to be a Jesuit. I'm very, very happy. I'm in Manila at the moment. I'm teaching theology at the Loyola School of Theology. I'm encountering lots and lots of members of the society whom I would never encounter otherwise. I'm meeting students from all over Africa, in fact, at Loyola School of Theology. I'm doing what I enjoy, which is teaching. Some people say I'm not a bad teacher. So I'm happy to be in the classroom. I'm happy to share the knowledge. I'm happy to help people to reflect in a theological way on what's going on in our world, in terms of the environment, environmental ethics, and in terms of kind of what's happening in Africa, the politics of Africa, sometimes the tragic stories of Africa, and some of the wonderful things that are happening on the continent. I'm happy because I'm a priest and I'm doing priestly work. Okay, now at the moment in Manila, I'm doing very less priestly work because I'm not involved in a parish or a chaplaincy. And I feel I'm at home with these companions. Wherever you go in the society, you can feel you've got brothers. You can feel that you've got a language that's in common. We can speak the language of the spiritual exercises. We can relate to many of the documents of the society, and we feel, yeah, these are guys I can talk to, and they can talk to me. I can understand them. They can understand me. So it's good. I'm happy.
Thank you,
Are
Father.
you happy? Are you happy
Of
in your
course,
vocation?
I'm very happy all the day, even in a certain some circumstances, but I'm always happy all the day because with the help of God.
Yeah,
Thank you, Father. Um,
yeah, pleasure.
um, the third question is who or what becomes your strength, no, to help you to cope your life, any journey in the society of cities, especially in this world. Nowadays, there's a lot of things that instant, then just click and come. So, who and what is your strength?
Okay. Obviously, God is my strength. I mean, God is the one who created me, who sustains me, who keeps me going. God is the one who's given me all these opportunities. God has given me my life. So far, God has kept me strong and healthy. But I think it's also really important to have a companion, a spiritual companion. We might call it spiritual director, but I mean, directors kind of sounds like he's giving you direction. I think it's more important. With Ignatius, he spoke of spiritual conversations. And that's what that's what the early Jesuits were doing. Not so much spiritual direction, but spiritual conversations. You could speak to somebody, and my spiritual director, to use the traditional term, is a Jesuit whom I've known for 35 years or more in South Africa. And I can speak to him. I can tell him anything. We can discuss anything. He's very open to me. I'm open to him, and so we've got a relationship where we can kind of share our temptations, our struggles, our happiness, our joys, and you don't feel you're alone in it. And I think in turn, I've been able to do that ministry and give that kind of encouragement to some of the younger people in the society who come to me for spiritual conversations. And so if you don't have someone, if you don't feel that you're connected in some way to a Jesuit to whom you can speak on a profound level, then it's an opportunity to find that person, or it's an opportunity to say, am I really connected in the Society of Jesus? Maybe I would be better speaking every day to my wife, having a husband, or having somebody I know and love and live with. But for me, that person I can speak to is in the society.
Thank you very much. I think it reminded me also about always put God as the center of my life, no, and God is the creator. I always rely on Him. So I think this is really important. It's a message for me, also for others, also to recognize that in our life, God is our creator. So we have to put our trust and we have to rely on Him every day. And the second thing I like what you mentioned is about relationship, the community. So relationship is not only with God, but at the same time, the relationship should go farther to the our brothers. So from the relationship, help us to, as Father mentioned, share our struggles, our happiness together, no? In order to cope our circumstances, no, our the difficulties in life. No, I think this is really important for me and also for others also um, to know that our relationship with one another is more important rather than just to be alone in a place. So then, the following question is, Father. I think this is it's a simple question. Uh, I think as Jesus asked to his disciples, "Who do you say that I am?" So, and for you, as a father, as a Jesuit, as a priest, who is Jesus for you, Father?
Okay. I mean, obviously, Jesus was a historical person. Obviously, Jesus lived in Palestine, Israel, 2,000 years ago. Jesus is a man. He's recorded. His stories are recorded in the four Gospels. And so, firstly, Jesus is a person. And then we go to the Gospel of St. John, and Jesus is clearly the Son of God. Very often, it's very clear from John and from the Christian tradition that Jesus is the Son of God. So when I relate to Jesus as a person, I see this as a man who did fantastic things. He was really appreciated by his contemporaries, the people living with him. He was also somebody who was very provocative and caused people to think, and he really appreciated the poor, and he helped the weak and the hungry, those struggling, those who were sick. He raised the dead. He performed so many signs that he was more than just a human person like you and me. And these signs indicate to Jesus being the Son of God. And I still struggle with that. I'm a theologian. I'm trained in theology. And theology tells you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, and tells you all the doctrines about Jesus. But those doctrines have to come somehow into a personal relationship. And I can say he's my friend, he's my example, he's my model, he's my companion, Jesus is many things to all of us, but if we don't have a personal relationship with Jesus, then there's something missing in our Christian life. Obviously, Jesus is the one who initiated the sacraments. Maybe we can say he's the founder of the church, and we belong to the church, and so Jesus is the founder of our religion. But he's also somehow, someone who speaks to me, someone whose voice catches me and says, I want you to continue this mission. I want you to be part of my vision, his vision for the world. So, Jesus is many things. It's not possible to say Jesus is one and only one thing.
Thank you, Father. I think it's really important, and for me and for the others to know that sometimes in our life we always relate to Jesus as the very highest way. But as Father mentioned, it's good also to relate to Jesus as a human person, as the one who always accompany us, the always one who always talk with us, as a person, as a humanity. So I think it's also important for us that Jesus is not only divine, but he's also fully humanity, that which we can relate to him as a friend, as a brother, or as a father. But at the same time, we also relate, comes to us as a fully divinity, which is, as Father mentioned, the one who always talk to us, the always catches our attention, and always help us to deepen our relationship with God. So I think this is really important for me and for others to know that we have to make a relationship with Jesus as a friend, or at the same time as a divinity. Thank you very much for this beautiful message then. So final questions, Father.
Okay.
What is your message to young men or women, or to the people, to consider the vocation, whether diocesan or the religious, or whether as a family? So what is your message for them in order to live faithfully in life and responding to this gospel?
Hey, my message is take yourself seriously. You've only got one life. You don't want to waste it. You don't want to wake up when you're 40 years old or 50 years old and say, where has my life gone? So take yourself seriously. You're a child of God. You are loved by God. You're created by God. You're created in the image and likeness of God. And therefore, God has a plan for you. God has something that he wants you to do, specifically you, that nobody else in the world can do. And if that is in relationship with God, obviously that's best as far as we Christians are concerned. If that is in relationship with Jesus as a Christian, then take that relationship seriously. Don't just drift in, go to Mass on Sundays, and then don't think about God until the following Sunday. Take your relationship seriously, as you would the relationship with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your wife or your superior. Just think, where does God want me to be? What would give me the most happiness, and therefore what would give God the most happiness? If God is looking at me and seeing, yeah, this is exactly what I wanted this guy to be doing, or this is what I wanted this lady to be doing. That would give God immense happiness. And it's the best thing that you can possibly do for your own life, is to live it in a meaningful, happy way. That means finding your vocation, finding your call, finding what it is that God is inviting you to do for the rest of your life. It may change, you may discern it in greater depth, or you may discern it at least more correctly as you go through life, but take yourself seriously. Don't just drift around watching TikTok for the rest of your life. It's not enough. You're more than that.
Thank you very much, Father. I'm so happy to have you here today with me. So I heard a lot of your experiences, your knowledge, your wisdom. I think that's really God's grace, which is helps me and help other to know our life, our vocation, especially direct us come closer to Jesus and to know Jesus more. I think thank you very much for this. I continue to pray for you, for your journey, your mission, and still stay in good health. Thank you very much, Father.
Thank you, Iloro, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. It's been a joy to talk to you. And I hope that your listeners, our listeners, have found something here that they've enjoyed. Okay, God bless. Have a good week.
God bless, Father. Thank you.